start with you.
Okay.
Everybody on the same page last night. The line of attack was pretty clear. By the same token, they walked that thin line of saying the economy is doing pretty good, but it can do better.
Yeah, they did, and I think that's accurate. You know, the economy is pretty good. It's certainly better than it was when the president came into office, and we can and should do better. And I think that's a separate point from, is Donald Trump qualified to be the president? Is Donald Trump's plan a danger to the country?
It's interesting you say that. I heard the word temper and temperament only a couple of times. It felt like the focus, though, Austin, was on this sort of juxtaposition of numbers saying that the economy is doing better, and certainly, you know, we know what we came into because you guys remind us all the time, and how the average...
wait a minute.
No, Austin, how the average American feels...
You just showed the clips. You just showed the clips. The contrast was the average American feels, if you look at the polling, you got about, it's true, 2/3 of the country saying they think the economy's going the wrong direction.
So why do they have it wrong?
Statistics, 2/3 of people, when asked about their own situations, say their own personal economic situation's going well. So there's a big disconnect between what they feel for their own pocketbook and what they think for the overall economy.
So, Caitlin, with this major disconnect, is it a dangerous strategy for the Democrats, particularly President Obama, whether it's terror and birds chirping or the economy doing great under my watch? Is this a dangerous path that they're going down?
There could be some risk there. I mean, if you're watching the two conventions, it really is a tale of two conventions. Republicans were painting a pretty dreary picture about the state of the economy, the state of national security, trying to tap into the anxiety and frustration and some fear that voters are feeling right now, especially in light of recent events. But, you know, the Republican Party, a lot of strategists I've talked to in the Republican Party also say that they used to be the party of optimism, kind of talking about Reagan's morning in America again. And you heard a lot of that from President Obama last night and Democrats throughout this week. You've heard some followers of Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren talk about an economy that's improved but slipping away. And I think Democrats will have to seize on that, as Austin just mentioned, that they have made improvements, but there is more to be done. And I think that's the line that you're going to hear over and over. But Democrats' strategy right now is that optimism strategy. Whether that will work in November remains to be seen.
Sure.
There's a long time to go between now and then. But the president also has very high approval ratings right now. The only challenging factor, I think, or one of the challenging factors, is that right track or wrong track number. That was a high number in 2012, but a lot of people were still blaming Bush for that. Whether they continue that in 2016 remains to be seen.
To use the Bush blame card, I think that has expired a long time ago. Alexandra, you're the College Republican National Committee Chair. A lot of the speeches last night, particularly President Obama, zeroed in on young people, and you know, he credited them with being enthusiastic, but also talked about debt forgiveness and things like that. Where does this rosy picture that the Democrats are painting, or at least trying to sell here, how does that fall on millennial ears?
You know, I think it represents to them another broken promise from this administration. They promised that it would be cheaper to go to college. They promised that that debt would be more manageable. And neither of those things is true for a millennial today. And student debt, and that's an incredibly important issue for them. And I think that it speaks to the majority of Americans.
Though, Alex, what if they push this debt forgiveness thing? Can they buy votes? Can they garner the enthusiasm of the millennials with that?
Believe it or not, I actually believe that's a mistake based on the research that we've done. A majority of millennials don't trust that government could actually deliver on something like free college. Why? Because they've never seen government work for them in their lifetime. They're looking for more affordable ways to pay for college. That's particularly something we hear from young independents out there in swing states. And so I think that the promises of free, it feels like pandering to millennials. It doesn't seem like something that government can deliver on.
All right, guys, last night, vice presidential nominee Tim Kaine, he took a new line of attacks on Donald Trump. I want you to take